Hi guys, I'm Anshul and I'm a writer and I especially like learning about gods, demons and mythology. So I'm trying to combine my two loves and bring to you original tales with a mythological twist. Hope you enjoy. Soon the Jagrata began. Roshan performs as Mata's lion. At that exact moment, the blazing fireball crashes onto earth right outside the venue. It's not a meteor. Standing inside the flames is the Asur king, Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu tightens his grip on his mace and charges towards them. Roshan ran back towards the hall. Hiranyakashipu, leave him, fight me. I am your end today. Half man, half lion. Just as a lion is about to pounce with a deafening roar, Roshan suddenly wakes up. He is breathing heavily, but then he is relieved when he realizes it was just a dream. But the second he checks the time, the relief disappears. Oh no, I have to run. If I am late, I will lose this job opportunity too. He jumps out of the bed and rushes to get ready. It's been 2 years since he finished engineering, but until now, he has got no job. Being a graduate from a small local college didn't help his case either. But unfortunately, by the time he reaches for the interview, he is late. He keeps requesting the receptionist for one chance. Please let them know I am here. Please, I am asking for one chance. But sadly, he is not allowed. But just then, the owner of the company, Mr. Sharma, walks past. Roshan immediately runs up to him. Sir, please give me one chance. I promise I won't disappoint you. Mr. Sharma barely even looks at him and says, the person who doesn't value time, time doesn't value him. Saying this, he walks away. Disappointed, Roshan goes to the place he was desperately trying to escape. And that place is Mata Ka Jagrata. Now don't get the idea wrong. Roshan is a believer. He has complete faith in God. What he doesn't like is what he has to do there. Almost every night, he gets inside a costume and dresses up as Mata's lion. Sure, it helps him earn a little money, enough to keep the house running. But he never feels the work is worth it. The moment he enters the makeup room, Narad, the owner of the troupe, looks at him and sighs. Narad is a skinny, kind hearted man in his 50s, with a face that somehow always looks cheerful. Roshan, you are late. You need to start coming on time, Narad says. Roshan says in a frustrated tone, Narad ji, these Jagratas have turned my life upside down. Do you know, yesterday whole night I was performing wearing that lion costume. Because of that, I overslept today and I missed my interview. I was unable to wake up on time. Narad smiles. Don't worry, you will crack the next interview. Roshan is not convinced and he says, you don't understand. I know, I earn enough here to survive. And I am grateful for that. But I am an engineer. I want a real career. I want a proper job. I want to get married. But somehow, the only thing I ever end up becoming is a lion. He pauses for a second before continuing. I have been waiting to meet Neha's father for so long. But how do I face him? What am I supposed to say? Hello, sir. I dress up as a lion in Jagratas, and now I would like to marry your daughter. To which Narad innocently replies, yes, what else will you say? Roshan laughs helplessly. If I tell him that, he will chew me up faster than any lion ever could. Then he takes a deep breath. I just need one good job. Once that happens, everything will fall into place. Narad pats him on his shoulder. Everything will fall into place, son. But first, go wear your costume. Your performance is about to begin. Roshan nods, and with a heavy heart, he puts on the lion costume again. Soon the Jagrata began. Roshan performs as Mata's lion, dancing with full devotion as the bhajans fill the air. While dancing through the crowd, he suddenly notices someone familiar. It was Mr. Sharma, the same man who refused to interview him earlier in the day. The moment Roshan saw him, he started dancing with even more energy. Maybe, just maybe, this is another chance to impress him. Throughout the performance, Roshan stays close to Mr. Sharma. He dances beside him. He helps him get to the front for Mata's darshan. He even lifts him up for a few dance moves. He plays with Sharma's little daughter, takes selfie with the family. He makes sure that they are having a best time. For the entire evening, Mr. Sharma is treated like the most important person there, almost more important than the goddess for whom the Jagrata was being held. When the event finally ends, Mr. Sharma looks around for the lion. He wanted to thank him. Then Roshan removes his mask and meets Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma is surprised. You? And then he adds, now I understand why you were late for the interview. Roshan immediately folds his hand. Sir, if you give me one more chance, I promise I will be on time. Mr. Sharma thinks for a moment and then he notices his daughter happily waving goodbye to the lion. A smile appears on Sharma's face and he says, this interview can happen. But before that, how about you organize a Jagrata for me? Roshan's face lights up instantly. Absolutely, sir. I will handle everything. Mr. Sharma nods and says, just remember, some very important clients will be attending. If they are impressed, I will be impressed. To which Roshan replies, sir, it will be a world class Jagrata. I swear on Mata's lion. Mr. Sharma leaves with his family. Roshan can barely contain his excitement. This could finally be the opportunity he has been waiting for. He immediately runs to Narad and tells him everything. How long can an engineer keep roaming around dressed as a lion? I promise the moment I get my first salary, I'll repay every single rupee spent on this event. But please help me. Narad understands how much this means to Roshan and he agrees. But still, he asks a valid question. What guarantee do you have? What if Sharma gets his free Jagrata and never gives you the job? Roshan smiles confidently and says, come on Narad ji, no one lies in Mata's name. Don't worry, let's just make this the best Jagrata ever. Narad nods and soon the preparations begin in full swing. This event was really important, but only for Roshan. Even then the entire troop worked really hard. For the event, they picked a special location, a place where it's believed Lord Narsimha killed the Asur king Hiranyakashipu. The location itself gave the whole event a mysterious atmosphere. For the event, they made no compromises. They chose the best decorators, best musicians, and best caterers. And finally, the big day was here. Roshan looked around at the preparations with satisfaction. Everything was perfect. He was hoping that Mr. Sharma will love it all and his life will change. Soon after, he walks into the makeup room. His lion costume is hanging there. The moment he looked at it, he felt a strange sense of disgust. What have I been doing with my life? He thought. But then he smiled and said, not today. Today someone else is going to wear that costume. Roshan has hired another performer to play the lion. After all, he doesn't want his new boss to see him that way. Soon he will be an engineer, a respected engineer. Just then, Narad walks into the room. So, my lion still isn't ready? Roshan laughs. Not today, Naradji. Today someone else will be your lion. Then Roshan gets a little emotional and says, thank you, Naradji, thank you. None of this would have happened without you. Thank you. I promise, the day I get my first salary, I will repay every rupee. Narad smiles warmly. My son, you will always be my lion, whether you wear the costume or not. Then he pats Roshan's shoulder and says, now stop getting emotional and check if everything is okay. Roshan smiles confidently and says, don't worry, everything is perfect, nothing can go wrong. The moment those words leave his mouth, high above earth, a blazing wall of fire enters atmosphere. Meanwhile, Mr. Sharma arrives with his family. Roshan personally welcomes them. The decorations, the lighting, the atmosphere, everything leaves Mr. Sharma genuinely impressed. He smiles and says to Roshan, very nice work, Engineer Sahab. Engineer. Hearing that word, Roshan freezes for a second. In last 2 years, no one has called him that. His eyes light up. Thank you, sir, thank you. It's been years since someone has called me an engineer. Now, let's begin the Jagrata. The celebration starts. Bhajans echo through the venue. People sing with devotion. The atmosphere is electric. Mr. Sharma's family looks proud. His client seems impressed. Everything was happening the way Roshan has hoped for. But then he starts getting worried. The man he hired to play the lion still hasn't shown up. He kept on calling him, but he got no answer. At that exact moment, the blazing fireball crashes onto earth right outside the venue. It's not a meteor. Standing inside the flames is the Asur king, Hiranyakashipu. He has returned to conquer the earth. But inside the venue, no one has any idea what's happening outside. The announcer is passionately speaking into the microphone, and now you will witness how the Lord destroys an Asur. Standing outside, Hiranyakashipu hears every word. His expression changes instantly. His ego is wounded. His rage explodes. Without another thought, he marches towards the venue. And boom! He enters, breaking one of the walls. Dust fills the air. Everyone turns around in shock. He is enormous, dressed in black armor, covered in golden ornaments, a gigantic mace in his hand, a thick royal mustache, the look of a true Asur king. But strangely, the audience starts clapping. They think he's part of the performance. Mr. Sharma also looks impressed and he smiles proudly at Roshan as if to say, now this is production value. But Roshan and Narad exchange a confused look. Neither of them has any idea who this man is. Trying to avoid the panic, they quietly tell the singers to keep the bhajans going. But Hiranyakashipu looks around. Hundreds of people praying, chanting God's name. His anger reaches its limit. He lets out a terrifying roar. The music stops instantly. The singers fall silent. The audience goes quiet. But even now, many people think this is all part of the act. But one person isn't enjoying it at all. She is Mr. Sharma's little daughter. She starts crying and Mr. Sharma calls Roshan over. Tell your performer to calm down. My daughter is getting scared. Roshan nods and nervously walks towards Hiranyakashipu. Trying to stay casual, he says, brother, easy. No one is paying extra for all this shouting. In fact, they will cut your payment. By the way, who are you? Hiranyakashipu responds with a louder roar, and the little girl starts crying even harder. Now Mr. Sharma loses his temper and he walks towards Hiranyakashipu. Are you mad? Why are you screaming like this? No one is deaf here. Hiranyakashipu turns toward him. His eyes burn with fury. With one push, he sends Mr. Sharma flying across the hall. That's when Roshan panics and says, brother, what are you doing? Don't hit Mr. Sharma. I will lose my job before I even get it. Just tell me, what do you want? Hiranyakashipu doesn't answer and casually throws Roshan aside too. Revenge he roars and starts smashing the venue apart with his massive mace. One pillar after another crashes to the ground as he swings while shouting the name Narsimha. Then slowly Mr. Sharma gets to his feet and looks at Roshan angrily. Then he shouts at Roshan, what kind of people have you hired? You are completely irresponsible. I made a huge mistake by asking you to organize this event, and even a bigger mistake by offering you a job. Those words hit Roshan harder than any physical blow. Trying to stay calm, he replies, no sir, please don't say that. I will fix everything, I promise. Then he walks towards Hiranyakashipu and tries talking to him. Brother, please calm down. If my boss takes away this job, I am finished. I have waited years for this. Then he points towards Mr. Sharma and tells him that he is his boss and requests not to humiliate him in front of him. Hiranyakashipu stares at Roshan and then at Mr. Sharma. For a brief moment, it seems like he is actually thinking. But he simply pushes Roshan away and again he lands beside Mr. Sharma. Hiranyakashipu tightens his grip on his mace and charges towards them. Both of them instinctively step back, but then something unexpected happens. Mr. Sharma suddenly pushes Roshan forward. Here, kill him first. He is a useless fellow. For a moment, Roshan can't believe what just happened. The man he had worked so hard to impress, the man he had trusted with his future, didn't think twice before sacrificing him. Just as Hiranyakashipu was about to strike, Narad jumps in front of Roshan. The blow lands on him instead. Naradji! Roshan shouts and tries to catch him before he falls. He helps him to the side. Are you alright? What were you trying to do? Are you some sort of hero? Narad smiles through pain. My lion, how can I let anyone hurt you? Roshan's eyes tear up, but then he asks, who is this Hiranyakashipu? Narad struggles to speak. He was an Asura who had a strange blessing. No human could kill him, no animal could kill him, no weapon could harm him. So Lord Vishnu took the form of Narasimha, half man, half lion, and brought the end of Hiranyakashipu. I don't know how he is back, but before Narad could finish, the giant grabbed him by his throat. Hiranyakashipu lifted him in the air and started choking him slowly. Roshan was in pain seeing Narad suffer, but then something flashed before his eyes. A roaring lion. Suddenly something struck him. Hang on, I'll be right back, he told Narad and ran towards the makeup room. In the makeup room, he was desperately trying to find something. And finally, he found it. It was the lion costume. The same costume he hated few hours ago, but this time he wore it. For the first time, it didn't feel like a burden. It felt like it was meant for him. Roshan ran back towards the hall. Hiranyakashipu, leave him. Fight me. I am your end today. Half man, half lion. Hearing those words, Hiranyakashipu's eyes burnt with rage. Narasimha, he threw Narad away and locked his gaze on Roshan. He was about to attack when Roshan says, then he told Hiranyakashipu, I am not Narasimha. I am just a man wearing a lion costume. Hiranyakashipu pauses as Roshan continues calmly. Think about it. What do you gain by fighting someone like me? I am nobody. You are the king of Asuras. If you are looking for someone worthy of your anger, talk to the man in charge. And he points towards Mr. Sharma. This whole event belongs to him. We are just workers, he tells Hiranyakashipu. Then Roshan turned towards Mr. Sharma and loudly pleads, please, Mr. Sharma, don't take my job away. Exactly as Roshan expected, Mr. Sharma explodes. A guy like you doesn't deserve a job even for a day. Spend rest of your life dressed up as a lion. Not take a stupid friend and get out of here. Roshan slowly turns back towards Hiranyakashipu. Did you hear that? He is calling King of Asuras stupid. Roshan then continues, if you really want to prove your authority, deal with him. We are just laborers. What will you gain by fighting us? For a moment, Hiranyakashipu actually thinks about it, and then he turned towards Mr. Sharma. Mr. Sharma, still blinded by arrogance, refuses to back down. He says, what are you looking at? Lower your eyes. Do you even know who I am? Hiranyakashipu starts walking towards him, and for the first time, Mr. Sharma looks nervous. I am warning you, stop this nonsense. I have connections with ministers. I will bury you to hell. These threats pushes Hiranyakashipu over the edge. With the furious roar, he charges at Mr. Sharma. In panic, Mr. Sharma turns around and runs for his life. He rushes out through the broken wall. Hiranyakashipu chases him. Within seconds, both of them disappear into the night. Roshan takes a deep breath and then smilingly looks at Narad. See, your lion saved you. Narad smiles back and both of them share a warm hug. Then a few days later, Roshan walks into Narad's place carrying a box of sweets. Narad sees him and grins. So, Engineer Sahab is here. Roshan smiles and says, not engineer, your lion. Narad laughs and says, yes, my lion. So tell me, now you have got an engineering job, that too at a better firm than Sharma's. How does it feel? And also, what about your girlfriend? Did the things move forward? Roshan nods and says, yes, the wedding talks are on. And your wish has also come true. Narad looks confused. My wish? Roshan feeds him a laddu and says, I have decided something. During the day, I will be an engineer. But during the night, I will still be your lion. Because somehow, when I wear that lion costume, I feel more human than anywhere else. Narad's eyes fill with happiness and he hugs Roshan tightly. I missed you, my lion, he says, getting emotional. Then he puts himself together and says, why are you still standing here? Go get ready. Your costume is waiting for you. Inside the makeup room lies the lion costume, and for the first time, it doesn't seem like a symbol of failure.